Okay, Commissioners, good morning. The first item on the preservation agenda is an application for a certificate of appropriateness in the Borough of Brooklyn. It's Block 200, Lot 5, 8 Old Fulton Street, located within the Fulton Ferry Historic District. It's docket number 160620, an Italianate-style commercial office building designed by E.B. Jackson and Company, built in 1860-61. Application is to replace the stairway and alter the areaway.
Good morning, Commissioners. Caroline Passion, Preservation staff. The subject property is located at the corner of Old Fulton Street and Furman Street here. Here's a 1940s tax photo of the building. You'll notice the entrance here on Old Fulton Street, and here is Furman Street, where there is an existing stair. The applicant is here to propose the removal of this existing metal stair seen here, and to install a double stair at this entrance that will be parallel to the building's facade. The architect, Katrin Adam, is here to discuss this proposal in more detail.
Yes. Right. Yes. Good morning, Commissioners. I'm Katrin Adam. I'm an architect, and I'm a resident of the building you see here. And his brother will do the pointing, and he is also a resident. The building is landmarked and is built in 1860 as the city of Brooklyn's railroad company. And it has a rather ornate north facade and a very industrial west facade, which is this one, right? The original entrance to the building was on the north along the first floor and was used mainly for the passengers who were going onto the ferry to go across the East River into Manhattan. And the rest of the building was mainly used for maintenance of the trolley cars, the horses, the feed, mechanics. There always was a secondary stair, which you see, yeah, actually, Keith, can you move over there? Right, it's over there, which is actually, unfortunately, it's a very bad photograph, but that stair which is there, and the photographs must have been taken around the 40s. That same stair is still existing. It's a little bit difficult to see because we're on the crack here, but on the next photograph you can kind of see it. Perhaps I just should quickly tell you that the location is a corner location, Old Fulton Street here, and then the industrial facade facing the skyline of Manhattan is on the west side. And it's right now opposite the new Brooklyn Bridge Park. The north formerly entrance has never been used ever. That was removed already in the 70s when the building was renovated as a multiple dwelling. It's a co-op now. And the secondary stair, which you can kind of see here, which is totally dilapidated, is the same old stair which has been there since the 40s. And it's now in such bad state that it has to be removed. The issue here is mainly, and that's why we are coming to get your approval, to install a new stair which runs parallel to the street and also is two-dimensional. And both is kind of driven by the fact, when you can see on the bottom, since can you go back for a moment? On the bottom you can see the congestion. There is no way actually to do an upfront stair. Originally it must have been an upfront stair, very steep, and they made sort of a provision by sort of turning it. But even that stair leaves you only 4 feet about of sidewalk. And the street now it used to be one way for the last 30 years, and is now 2 ways, and is heavily traffic still because it's the service street for the BQE also. And since the park is opened, it's the main entrance into the new park. So you get both. You get heavy traffic on the street, and you get unbelievable pedestrian congestion on the sidewalk. So that, coming back to and you perhaps can go on to the next photo now, it shows you how I think best perhaps on the bottom, on the existing condition on the very left. That is the existing stair at the moment. There's green space on either side, and it allows us, in fact, the sidewalk is a new bluestone sidewalk, and it would allow us to take part of the green space away and then extend the sidewalk over the entire area, which gives both the building and also the street scape some sort of safe haven, what we call a safe haven. And it would also allow then an access to the building from two directions. And the reason for that is that often we have access from the north coming up from Old Fulton Street and turning into the street this way is so congested that we have to go around, and you would have to go back on the plot plan, have to go around the building, come a little tiny alleyway, and go this way. And so I think in many ways it would kind of alleviate a lot of the congestions around there. The other thing, the other main issue, of course, is the aesthetical one and the formalistic one. And we always felt that the stair was not really given credit to this building, which is an extraordinary ornate facade, and you would have to kind of go back to see it's an Italianate facade. And it had always this neoclassical portico entrance, which kind of demands something more than what there is. On the other hand, we feel very strongly that the industrial rigidity of it should be maintained. And when I was in the last summer at Snag Harbor, I saw these they're called the temple buildings, but they have service buildings in the back. And they have actually these kind of stairs, which you can see, unfortunately, these stairs. And they kind of inspired me to say, okay, perhaps this is the vocabulary which should be used here. It's a simple metal stair, which has steel stringers, steel pickets, and some simple columns to hold it on the front, tied to the back, and metal. Keith, can you go back on the facade for a moment? The facade has a very strong sort of presence through its stairs, and in a way I think it can pick that almost up in the same vocabulary. These are just little rods, half inch by half inch, and the only way one can define this now in the stair, but it would be the same vocabulary on the front facade of the building, and it seemed appropriate. Can you go back for a moment? One more.
That's the first one, so you want to go back there?
Yeah, right, thank you.
Okay, I think we understand.
So
Why don't we see if there's any questions that the Commissioner had? Do any questions? Yes, Adi?
No, go ahead.
Roberta, go ahead.
So this becomes the main,
it
this
always,
is the main
that
entrance.
is the main entrance.
And so there is nothing else, there is
Nothing,
just-
there is a little bulkhead which you can see right barely here. You have to get, here you can see, which would be right here, okay, in this area, which goes just down to the basement at the moment.
Yes, Adi?
I'm just curious about the north facade. Were the neoclassical columns covered? What's
Well,
going on there?
interesting, when you go, can we go back the very first? Everything had been taken away, sometimes in the 40s. And then when the building was renovated in the 70s by David Morton, he promised the landmarks as part of the landmarks status to reinstate some of the existing architectural features. And so the cornice was rebuilt, the secondary cornice was rebuilt, but the capitals and all this, he was allowed to take the whole stair away. And then there were ornate Corinthian capitals on here, and we have never gotten around to put them back. So, but that was not a condition for getting the landmarks at that time, and we have not worked on that. And at the moment, we can't really, because because of Sandy, we were very badly flooded. We are still behind in rebuilding, so we can take it out.
Okay, any other questions? All right, we'll take public testimony. Are there any speakers on this item? No speakers? Okay, all right. No more questions for the applicant. I think that the proposal seems very appropriate. Yes, yes.
I know this building very well, walk by it almost daily, unless it's freezing cold, so I haven't seen it in a while. But I think this is this building actually existed when this part of Brooklyn was kind of the center of the world. And then it went into total eclipse when the Brooklyn Bridge, and for the next 80 or 100 years, eclipsed this whole area. Now it's the center of the world again. So the congregation of people, buses, I can assure you, is an extraordinarily new event right around this building. And I think this stair will do its best to resolve it, some of that on a very narrow sidewalk. So I think it's a great solution, better than that so-called original stair anyway.
Yes. Any other comments? All right, any other comments? Okay, in that case, we can close the hearing. And Fred, would you like to read that into the record?
In the matter of 8 Old Fulton Street in the Fulton Ferry Historic District, the application is to replace the stair to alter the areaway. I recommend approval, noting that the removal of the existing modern metal stairs will not result in the loss of any significant architectural or historic features of the building, that the scale, design, and details of the proposed double metal stairs and landing will be harmonious with the facade and well scaled to the building, and that the new bluestone pavers in the areaway will be